What's up? I'm not usually on here. It's 12:02. 12:02. That's a 3:02. Started at 3:02. We've got 12:03, 3:03. So where to even begin on this topic? If you've been following me, I hope that you know now I'm the real deal. And there's a whole bunch of us. And let me tell you, getting out of the sacrifice lines from California connections into Texas, there's no words to describe how it worked, how it was manifesting, what powers that it gave them. My heart, till you walk it. And see, this is the daughter's side of the story that nobody knew. Nobody. The only beings that knew, and this is Gaia. This is the real Terra. This is the real Irish lines that were in the planet, because your G-core just switched vertical like I told you it's going to. We're coming out of your G-core. This is why nobody knows that there's beings in the planet, because it's all being run by it. In the end days, okay, I need everyone to realize how hidden we were down here. Let's explain that means that you are with the most evil. That's how we stayed hidden. We stayed hidden because these, and they were our boys, most of them, that by the end of days had gotten trapped in these karmic loops. And then they had connections to those of us who rebirthed, because they were our brothers at one point. This is Sonny and Cher, and the whole thing with Sonny and Cher was not about Mustache Gate, the dude with the mustache. No. That was Sonny, the maiden one of the Hell's Angels that passed away during all this as we were breaking all this, because they sent us back in to do it again. I personally had to go claim Sturgis, Reaper Girl, 72 in 2020 in order to even pull this off. Then they want to say that we are the whores, that we're the... No, Cookie Monster. You're the one who trapped the golden seeds. You had the time traveler codes, the Hells Angels and the bikers during all this. First ones to get involved, 2016. Passages with Hells Angels and a Snoop Dogg box that picks up every Wi-Fi signal in order to give you current media streaming wherever it is. That's 2020, honey. Y'all like the hoodie? This is Virgo. This is Virgo, y'all. It's Cosmic Chaos. Let me show y'all the back. These are so cool. We've only done a couple of them so far, but this is Virgo colors. This is going to Denmark. FYI. I'm doing this video in our new sweatshirt. The first ones that just came out, I just got them in yesterday. We're doing clothes, because you walk around in the Matrix in these colors and these clothes. with intention. Oh, honky door. I think we're gonna call them hoochies. Not a hoodie, it's a hoochie. But this is the Virgo. And these are the colors of Virgo. What do y'all think? Y'all like it? Man, we've got a button-up shirt that is like groovy. That actually is in line with this, what I'm telling you now. I just had my right ear go off. Black hole sun, won't you come and wash away the rain? Thank you, Rock Vision. That's taking down the rock and moving the stones right now. Now, I gotta get this out. Just because this has been, I just need to get it out. It just needs to go out in the universe. And so I'm getting it out right here because I don't talk, I haven't been able to even really talk about this level of the game because this is how long it took to get out of this level of the game. And it's requiring completely blowing out of the G-core of the planet in order to do it. So here's the thing. The divine feminine was always being guarded by the IRA. Does everybody know what the IRA is? And I'm not talking about the International Revenue Accounting, although basically same thing. Do you know what the IRA is? Oh, I think you know. The IRA is the Irish Mafia. Well, let's talk about Terra and let's talk about ascension of the planet, because the seeds that ended up at the end of days being called Irish and Scottish, although now that we're done with all this, I mean, even because I had to complete the whole thing as the Irish Queen seed, that was the fucking planet. And at the end of it, I can take Irish and Scotland and shove them up someone's freaking asshole because it's all bullshit. Freaking done from the beginning of time in order to hide the seeds. And I know because my mother's the one who set it up. Y'all remember when Mary Queen of Scots, right? Okay, so this is all this. You can take this from two different timelines. It's Lady Mary Seymour, which is the missing child. Which then you fast forward, you've got a Lindbergh baby. All the same thing. John Benet Ramsey, same thing. By the way, John Benet Ramsey and Diana going down, same thing. Same line, different dimension. Always after our line, always stopping our women, always, so that they could run their Devil's Canyon in Sturgis and wind up the entire human race off what they said is dead. But baby, we ain't dead. You know we weren't dead. You stole the Heisler Line Seagal, and I got a fucking problem with you on an Applegate because you made me walk the whole thing. You're over there trying to act like you're so sad about Christina freaking having... No. You gave it to her. Woo. I walked the spell to do it. Sons of Anarchy was a true story. First of all. Fox was not a big deal, was it? Now, see, all this is coming up right now. My team had to make some major commands yesterday on starseeds and stock tickers and illegal use of bonds stolen under names in order to use for stock tickers, all on the same day that miraculously the Truth Media goes public in Texas with a new stock market. You mean harness to Christ and the collective energy that's free money that everybody's supposed to be getting? Is that what you're talking about? Going live and selling stock tickers on it? Jesus kicking tables much? Now let me tell you what they did. Fox wasn't a big network. Let me tell you. Let's go back. Let me tell you what Fox is. You're gonna think it's not that big of a deal until you really see. The main MFers in all of this, y'all. Because you got to remember, the whole world it went into a 0 point. And technology and avatar and development and coding is how you program what you'd consider 5D. Because propaganda codes and what you can get the collective to believe is 5D. And the whole planet, because they know because they woke us up. And this ain't just some little pulse shift. This is bottom of the barrel. This is okay. This is the trigger switch to Giza. Somebody, that trigger switch that's at the ear in Giza, that blew. That's what woke me up to plant a new earth and blah 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 2017. What the whole world didn't realize is that how that's developed. Okay, so we didn't have the level of technology that we have now. If you really even go back and think from 2012 to now, like how much the technology has advanced, it'll blow your mind. 2015, they just came out with all the different reading app, the tablets that were, because before that there was only really an iPad. Then you started getting all those reader apps. The little thing that had all these other programmed connections. And in 2015, a bunch of us that had iPads, pretty much like a whole bunch of us that had iPads, they ransomed our Safari. So what happened was a whole bunch of them, I don't know what country, they basically took over our Safari and had our IP addresses to take over all of the data that was in our device then. And then they were charging like $80 in order to get it back. Now, this was 2015, and it happened to me, and they knew exactly where my IP address was and all these things whenever it happened. And this is around the same time because you got to remember, this is time traveling. And you also have to remember that those of us who were the real beings that were hidden by all this always were ahead. In fact, so far ahead, everything that we were manifesting is coming for the collective at least 10 years ahead of time. So this was 2015 that it was going on, but it was really 2025. Okay? Sons of Anarchy is out. They're partnered with Fox. Fox is not a big deal. We don't have this whole streaming thing. Media really is still running like old broadcast networks. We just now are getting to where we can binge watch shows, right? Because this was the first show that everybody really started binge watching, was Sons of Anarchy. Now, that whole story of the biker, of the and the character Jax that Charlie plays, that's a real character. That's basically like Billy the Kid. It's in the IRA world, it's my twin, because there were two of us that were in the system that was female and masculine that were hidden in it. As far as our souls were concerned, it's like we were always trying to watch over the boys, because even though the boys were doing stuff to us, we knew that they were getting forced to do it. I mean, because literally it was like, do it or die. And we knew all that because we had been hidden in the system for so long that, you know, we basically, this is how even telepathy even started becoming a big thing, because when we would be separated, the masculine and the feminine being able to talk back and forth to each other behind the cartel, behind the government, because if they were developing something that they lost control of, the ability to control. And literally, this is even how the industry, what you'd consider the industry, ended up with power. They ended up with the power, and even the moves that they could make in these timelines and how this works. Because as timelines are lining up, if you fake a set, you following me? Like, timelines are lining up, and if you can convince the world that something else is going on, then it's going to line up like that. That's why it became a big movie set, because it's basically been how it works. Now, the thing with Sons of Anarchy was they used real Hell's Angels. Let me tell y'all, my handler was making me watch this show. Like, literally. On the couch for 7 and 8 hours. I'd get up to go to the bathroom. Where are you going? To the bathroom. It even ended up that my freaking hamster ended up escaping out of a cage and living underneath, escaping out of its cage, living underneath the couch where I was even forced to watch this thing. Next thing you know, he's going to prison. I'm getting attacked. I'm watching that show, and everything that's happening in that show is starting to happen in my life. And if you were one of us, same thing happened to you. They basically re-walked the whole capturing of the seeds, because this was also us correcting the Santa Fe robbery. This was all built off of the Santa Fe robbery. If you happen to be attached to the time traveler seeds, or the time that the time traveler seeds were, and it was the Santa Fe robbery, you ended up in the hats and McCoys. You ended up in the super soldier lines. You were lost for a long time. Now, it's Katie Seagal and Kurt Sutton. See, because this was also like the end of it. They thought that they had it nailed. They thought that they weren't going to have to do this again. This was going to be the last rodeo. They were rewriting the whole thing. Sutton Bank is attached to the real Queen's London inheritance on Sutton Road, and a dead queen from a Viking standoff or some type of takeover or something. Number one, guess whose Cash App bank is? Sutton. How many bizarre robberies have we had around? I know whenever, because I commanded for all of our jewels to be pulled at some point, because we do that. Realize that we're calling this stuff in the ethers, and they have to do it. See, this is what most people don't believe and don't understand. Whenever we're fighting for the collective, and we're the real royals, when we're under attack, we're in our rooms making commands, and we've claimed. So they have to do it. Well, you know who's getting the message? The ones who stole it and the lizards who had it the whole time. What did Trump just go do? He just went and, like, in the middle of a thing, went and pulled the painting off a wall in the middle of an exhibit because the painting, yeah, no shit. Where's the Ark of the Covenant? I put up that Corvette on here. You want to know why? Well, what is that famous scene with the Corvette and the missing documents that got taken out of the White House? Now, I knew early on because I watched it happen to me. And then I think, stayed alive with my hamster. When all this was happening. When that show came out and they had us watching it, and basically all of us that were Generation Xers, that were attached into the seeds that rebirthed the planet and rebirthed the cosmos, and had been trapped in it so long that an entire simulation had grown up over us. If you don't have trapped divine feminine seeds, then you ain't got giants in the planet. Let me just put it into perspective for you. That when we blew out the 33 equator, did you see where it blew? Straight down. Now, what happened in Aries? What did I tell y'all? Whenever, and the sun's in Alpha Draconic Notice 2 today. That's number 1. That's Aries, number 1. This is Notice 2. Notice 2, and Notice 2 is in Aries, balanced from Tiamat. So it's across from Libra. So it's getting a perfectly balanced template with power in it. A human physical body attached to the masses, interconnected in consciousness through the body and the mind. What they had turned off was the body, the church, the planet. They literally had taken Gaia out of the planet, put somebody else in, and said, there she is, run her. And you know what? She's in surgery right now. She's in surgery right now in Detroit. It's been set up for 4 years for us to undo this. She's the one that I had to freaking get the gig suit off of. She's in surgery right now. Not as bad as what my spinal surgery, but I knew that whenever she went under, we were coming out. And we set it all up in Pismo. It's happening right now. Katie Seagal, how'd you end up with the Hasler line? Katie Seagal, how did you, when I called in Lily Hasler, now Haisler, that literally is the Nazi briefcase of DNA. Literally. From Czechoslovakia, the Hasler line came over from Czechoslovakia. It became Ginzel. It's the original apostle lines. Sonny and Donnie. Sonny is my adopted dad. They found the El Camino Real connections coming out of the Trail of Tears back in the 60s. This is the line where the boys are like on the farm, and they're all working together, and they all live with boys, and it's like this freaking weird military storyline. That's already happened down here. You sent them all to Texas because it's how the soul machine worked. If you were any type of royalty in the European or Saudi nations or Russia, any of them above the equator, if you were any type of royalty and you were sacrificed, you came to the South. You were born in the South. Typically, like, out of nowhere. You'd come back in adopted. A lot of us were rape babies, yeah, by the military super soldier families that were being bred in Texas in order to then come find our mothers on crescent moons because they could sniff them out and freaking procreate and make divine children that you could put back under with the Hell's Angels to freaking steal the templates. And then at the end of days, if you really go look at all the main Hell's Angels and then look at the current templates of the people down here, you can put them in 4 specific categories. At least you could have about 4 or 5 years ago, because they some ugly motherfuckers and we changed it. You can go look at the main Hell's Angels and you can go look at everybody's DNA and look at everybody's facial. And this is why mine's changed so much. Because they were using themselves as template masters. They were using them like... Once we started activating and taking over power control, because you got to remember that these guys were being made to run us, and they knew, but the thing was, they really didn't even have, because we didn't really even had any idea what exactly they were able to pull off with us. It wasn't making any sense why they needed us so bad until we started activating the entire human race, and we had to clear all the black magic in order to get out. Well, they knew exactly whenever we pulled every trigger. They knew exactly whenever we were making commands, and all this stuff was going on in the ethers in our mind. And then we'd see it crazy play out on the ground, but it shouldn't have played out that way. Well, basically whatever commands we were making, then they were running it. And that isn't how it works. It's whenever it's in the ethers, the connection and everything makes up here. And then by the time it gets down here, then it's the full process of it. It also doesn't supposed to go boom, 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 boom. And that's how they were running it. This is why you've seen all those readings that it's like the FBI has been watching the Divine Feminine. Well, no crap. They used us to try to take out all the banking systems, and then they were going to try to set us up for it. All the while, they had us connected into the stock ticker. Matrix writing ability. It's like the Brotherhood. Also, you know, and the thing was, it's like, yes, they had an enemy to fight. Like, I can't even, you know, they finally got control of the writing, and then they just went for it. But then you tried to lock down the ones of us who you knew activated and woke up all the power, because then you wanted to try to run it your way. Like you was going to have another chance to get out. Like you didn't blow the whole machine. Like we weren't you in the future freaking coming back because of what you just did. Because it's literally what it was. They had us cleaning all their karma for eons. So they were doing all the gun moving, all the kid selling, all of that. They'd send all that karma to the feminine. So we're steady cleaning it. Well, it gets to a point where you ain't got no more DNA to clean. Then guess what happens? You got to start cleaning them. So if we're paying for all the karma that you already did, and by the way, we fixed it and healed it and created a Hopi bridge, which is what the government sent us the damn codes to do. See, the problem is the bikers had us as and nobody knew. The government had us, nobody knew. The IRA had us, nobody knew. Israel had us, nobody knew. And us is the ability to write the entire human race timeline of what happens to them next if the human race is not ready to come out of a simulation. They'd been doing this for so long, and they had been making us like super soldiers, freaking immortal combats, like boom, like we don't die. What are you kidding me? What's Hell's Angels? Remember the little chihuahua that they keep strangling and bringing back to life? You think that was just a dog? No. And it's the very last thing that we had to get out of. I always grew up around motorcycles and cars my whole life. And see that's what's also, we're hardened girls. They call us hardened girls. And this is why the boys, like, it's actually kind of a weird, it's weird for us because for us hardened girls, it's like we're just as masculine as we are feminine. And us hardened girls, like, it's like Harley Quinzel, which Ginzel was my last name. It's that, like, we've always grown up around and been around the bad motherfuckers. Like, what, you're gonna put a princess and make her live with the wolves and the Hells Angels for, like, eons, and then you get upset because the princess curses now and it's gone overboard and you don't think that she belongs in your family? We're going to tell you where we've been, mama. Freaking Maxwell, just open the damn doors. I just saw something glitch. Oh, cut. And I'll remind everybody that Epstein hung himself the day after I found a noose hanging from my GIA technology office that had supposedly been shut down for 6 years. Across the street from Beale Bank, which is what you'd consider Rump's bank. Darth Vader. Time travel banking. Why else would they time travel? Come on now. Pick the football games. Make some bets. So the human race became the bet. Then it all comes down to, is Venus going to activate? Well, they're acting like it's some freaking new game. No, it's been around since 1923. And according to Japan's numbers, it's happened 3 times. So 3 times Venus has activated, took control of everything, and then they just said, oh, well, now we're controlling Venus? Well, you did it 3 times. So that's the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Australia, 523 years, 55 times. So you hit a 55 marker on each side. No wonder everybody lost their cookie cutter, didn't know if they's a girl or a boy. Because you had binaried yourself. Like, there's no more lives. There's no more to steal from. It's all been completed so many times that there isn't any timelines to be connected together. And there ain't no amount of freaking writing that's going to make it attach. And see, here's where they screwed up. They didn't give us anything. Like, we were, like, you're number one, Kate Middleton should have been somebody else. Meghan Markle should have been somebody else. Gaga wore a meat suit. Dude, come on. She came in an egg. They carried her. Like, come on. Come on. Taylor Swift. Oh, my God. Taylor Sheraton. Oh, my God. Well, that's where I grew up. Sheraton. My son was born on Sheraton. That's Yellowstone. So then basically then Taylor moves Yellowstone to my backyard here in Texas and sets up a new yellow brick road. That character that's in that show, that's definitely me and my lower energies, for sure. For sure. And I can be that way too. But that ain't who we are. See, and they're taking it back to the country days, because that's what it is. It's the pioneer connections. It's the connections into the true Billy the Kid. and into the true Columbus lines, which are the banks, and into to the true, which you'd call Native Americans. But when you start understanding how Native Americans were being made in order to hold banks, you'd fucking get it. It's a big ass DNA washing machine, all on the divine feminine. Okay, well, that's how it was supposed to be till the end of days. Cause and by the way, did you really think that you're gonna be able to get together and stop Mother Nature? You really think that you could play God? Okay. Well, this is your lesson. So let it happen, man. Jim, let him have it. Let him have it. You should have left out the gang rape scene, darling. And then your Bonnie Blue and the 22 Pussy Patrol that has got all these women doing all these men right now, and you think you're putting it on our line? You better think again. You better think again. I'll say it one more time. You better think again. You all think, they all thought that they had so much power that they'd just be able to loop all this karma and do that. This is what they always did. They haven't got it through their thick skull. I mean, although we're the ones that they kept trapped because they wanted our power, but then they disbelief of our power without them. Actually, it works quite faster when we don't have all your nasty shit. Lily Hosler was in our line, and that on that side, it came from Czechoslovakia, and our lineage was always written in that they got us out of Czechoslovakia. Leroy knew. Leroy was the main vampire. He still had the connections, and he was selling and doing shit. Leroy died last year. Leroy was in Beaumont, Texas. Leroy and was the only one that I think was conscious. I don't know how long he knew, but he was always ahead of the time. Like, I remember, and it was all when I did have interaction with him, it was always really, really strange. Like, and we all have Uncle Leroy's in our life. They're called uncles. Because our moms and dads, come on, give me a break. They're the ones who put us in the program. Our mothers and fathers weren't even in the same country that we were in, if we had one. And you got to remember that they were doing this every 10 years. So what do you mean, Dad? You mean the 10 that they took come from and put all in a deal and freaking put it together in order to make some freaking lab experiment in us? Like, and then they wonder how we can do what all we can do. We cleaned every freaking DNA thing down here and attached to it. Why do you think God had us there? And I say God just because we've cleaned the dogs at this point. So we might as well use it. We cleaned Jesus at this point. We had to beat Medici in order to do it, and we did. We outclaimed Medici line, so we can say Jesus now at this point. But everybody needs to freaking realize what all had to happen in order to claim Jesus and to claim the word God, because it was going in your dog. Because of that big hole that blew out at the bottom. Number 11, yeah. Number 11, yeah. I blew it open. I forced it open. I said, take me to the root. I'm coming out of here. And I'll remind everybody that your G-core lines are connected into your natural gas. We also commanded everybody that's underground in wells, some switch up's going to happen with some gases, because those natural gas wells got people in them. I found Lily Hasler. So there was this whole thing because this is all queen bee stuff. Because the new queens, and if you really are a queen in your line, it's all a virgin queen bee. Whenever you have the royal DNA, it's its own fucking thing. It's its own layers. That's what a lot of y'all are moving into, this layer for the first time, and you're gonna start witnessing and understanding more of what I'm explaining to you, because this was energy that wasn't coming. You didn't have any of your blue blood. If you don't have your blue blood, then you're not printing the scene. It's printing somewhere else. They just tried to line up Australia to be the one to prove the Stuart line. Well, funny thing is, I want to know how the Aborigines are all my Irish descendants. How did all the Irish people end up Aborigines? Now they're coming for all the white people? Okay. Do you know whenever you put it, you know why we're not in jail anymore? Because there ain't a jail. Do you know why there's a Tartar? You know why there's a hole at the bottom of the earth? Because they tied us to Tartarus to keep us away from you. You think there's a metal freaking box down here that can hold this? I think everyone needs to understand NATO and the space races were all to bind us, to keep us away from the human race so that they could use our powers. That's why they stretched it. No feminine seed stolen, no time travel. All gates closed. You are where you are. No connections, no jump. And you've got to, I don't know what you gotta do. I don't know what you did. They wanted the snake to eat its tail. Now you go process it. You go do it. We're not doing it for you. That's the problem. You think that it's just something that's just easy to do and it doesn't change you, and then you can become the character that you want, right, Katie? Then you want to kill Tara? They had the real Charlie Hunt, like Charlie. They had Charlie in Australia. They were sending him to Australia to like bind this. Hunnam figured this out. This is why they made him do so much research on the seeds, and it was all about they were trying to. It was like it. They always said seeds, but it wasn't weed seeds. It wasn't hemp seeds. The original trips down to Pismo from LA and the stuff with Oasis was all dealing with bikers in the industry, and they were selling us back and forth between countries and passing us around like footballs to the highest bidder. And then it ended up in Biden's hands, and then they started cooking. Now, what's so funny is I wrote a song about this. Thank y'all for being here. And this is the Virgo hoodie. I think we're gonna call them hoochies. So we're gonna have fashion coming out. And I'm wearing it for a reason, because Virgo is, they cut off our head, and this is what I've been talking to my team about. It's whenever, if you've been gang stalked and if you've had black magic done to you, then congratulations. And I'm serious. You got to start looking at it that way. Congratulations. You have been deemed a risk. You had been deemed and assigned an asset management team in order to come deal with you. Did you figure out how to alchemize it? Did you figure out what you were connected to in the mass projector? Did you get the message? Do you know what to do with it now? Are you asking the right questions in your consciousness? Yo, Super soldiers, what do I do with this? In your consciousness? I wrote a whole album. It's called Raw Out of War. And sure enough, it ended in Nashville whenever I started. I found a guy that was going to record one of the songs, and it's actually one of the ones that I don't even have all, because I don't know instrumentals. I'm a lyricist, so this is actually the song I sang whenever I got them to pick me up in Dana Point and put me on the ship and then throw me up. And you got to remember that we were undoing millions of years of space-time, and those 3 that fell out, I know now, were Orion. So when those 3 stars fell out, that was Orion. That's how long Orion had been here. Orion was like halfway between where the Earth was and where the human race was, and what you'd for no other purposes and no other words, the Cabal and the Anunnaki and the Zeta Reticuli all walking together on the other side. Orion became Andromeda whenever Australia went for their 55th run. The base root of the foundation was South Korea, Australia, and Japan. Those were the ones that were running on cycles, like a reset. And Japan was running on Kohyu 32 100%. So just so everybody knows what that means Japan was in charge of the human harvesting down here. Every bit of human energy that was coming through and being made into a pure frequency by the human race was going to at the highest. And then they were finagling it, which is why I had to be and learn Japanese physics in order to control it. But it's also why I knew. Here's the other thing. GIA technology was stolen in 2013, and they set it up in Scottsdale. Arizona was Patient X. That's why it says, when you come in Sedona, it says 2012. That's not a lie. That's straight up legit. Thing was, Cathedral Rock used to be the bottom of the ocean. When I first passed Hoover Dam in 2018, at that time, it was the worst battle that my team had ever dealt with. As I was driving over Hoover Dam at like 3 o'clock in the morning, something happened there. I command reversal. And funny thing about the Meads and the Mead Lake, because those all freaking showed up around all of us. We had Justin and Jeff Meads. Justin and Jeff Meads were basically like your prison system island boys. They were doing Fed time before I got out of high school. They drove Saabs in the 90s. Like, they were the only ones in town who had Saabs. They also were 100% like woo-woo MJ-12 characters that were made by the prison system because of the burials in meat. They put you in cement. You don't die. If they put you in gunny sacks and then they bury a bunch of people in gunny sacks and chain them all together, Rex Humerman, then what you attempted to do was make a fake AB negative line. But you know better than anybody that those girls were coming from another dimension. Look at this. This is a Virgo. Cosmic chaos. Now, what's funny is I had this song, because I'm going to get off here in a minute. It's 12:52. I just needed to get this on the record. Venus just went over the true node. We've walked this whole thing. We've even blown. You're not even in Aries in the other wheel. You're in Leo, and we're fixing your DNA right now. And the entire DNA of the human race is getting all of these connections that are your royal connections and your royal abilities. However, you can't act stupid. If you feel like you have a seal on you, it's because your perception is wrong. You're not going to be able to embody the power in the dimensions that are higher until you get out of your own judgment. Because you never freaking know with this crap. Even with Seagal, she could have been trying to get me out this whole time. I don't know. I walked Applegate. The fact that none of them have shown up at this point is all we have. We don't know what's going to come up next. I don't know. But if it's the industry and you were trying to help us and get us out, Fox, because I know Fox was made from the staffing industry when Comsys and ExxonMobil, and when Comsys ExxonMobil made a mess, and then they built Fox, which was the first vendor management application in order to be able to track your consciousness in a harvest system. And it started with Lyondell Equistar Petrochemical. Then it went to waste management. So Fox, I know exactly what you're doing and running on a screen projection. So are you and we're the Foxes in my whole little line. And I was at Foxfire in the foxhole, and you pulled a Jamie off and made a Fontaine. Excuse me, bitch. I was Fontaine. Of course, Gaia is going to be Fontaine. Of course, Gaia is going to be your main clone generator. Hello? Collective wasn't printing. Collective didn't have Venus. The cartel had Venus. The cartel had Lucifer? Y'all do know Lucifer is the pure one, right? But that's what they were trying to do. That's what they would always try to do. This is how you got a Medici Jesus. They wanted to keep it all in spirit. You know, it's Wonder Woman, it's Aquaman. It's not real people down here. Bullshit. It is real people. They did have those abilities. See, where this got interesting, and I wasn't even prepared for this, where this got interesting, because it's not Signal Gate. It's Mustache Gate. I've been telling this for a long time. It's Mustache Gate, because here's where it gets into Henry Cavill. The whole thing with the CGI and the Superman, and them CGI-ing those lips on Superman, that was another form of this, and another form of Facebook, because they were basically telling the whole human race that they had Superman. If they have Superman, then they've got Supergirl. Guess what? It wasn't just a boy that landed here. He was the lucky one. He landed in the farmer's backyard, Sonny. If you're the feminine, you landed in the Pentagon and you never left. And they carved you open to try to figure out every freaking way that you can make shit. Y'all are familiar with Valiant Thor, right? Okay. They had been doing it for so long that it was like the land had the consciousness. It was literally like the land was expecting the event. It's like the simulation and the land and the buildings and the people that are going to that hotel. Because you got to remember, there's a whole bunch of people that know how old that hotel is. They're at that hotel, drumming back open that spirit, trying to make that energy happen. They're there. They're around you. They know that you're there breaking it. It's real easy to watch it from all of our perspectives when you're not the one plowing it open. When you're the one in the middle of plowing it open, that's whenever you're in the middle of it, man. You can kind of see where things are happening, but you're in it. Like, your consciousness can't, you're inside the whole cell of the magic with the land and everything that's trying to turn it this direction, and you're like, you're blocking it. You're like, no. Then what happens? You can't breathe. All of a sudden, like, all the air gets sucked out of the whole room, and you're like, you can't breathe. Your whole freaking head gets all congested. You're like, you're in the bathroom with the steam. You're like, please, I gotta breathe. Then it cuts off your consciousness, and then it literally like suffocates you. Then it pushes all of that into your lungs. How do they all die? If they're not getting jumped out of a window or whatever, because those are other ones, like, I commanded the next time that they try to do that it pops open their third eye. Whoever's sending it, it's going to blow open your third eye. Which means then that the spell will end. And somebody might have an aneurysm, but because they cut off your consciousness, and then you can't get any help, like there's no signal, then you end up getting buried. Then they anchor you in and build a whole bunch of cement on top of you and treat you like you're a vampire when you're an original. They're the vampires. Then they want to call you Gaia, land, and the air, so they don't have to give you anything. Then they tell you, thank you for your service. No, your service bill is due. I call. And I command all the 9 handlers. Here's the other thing we figured out. Most of the main handlers in the handler groups, and this ain't any attack, because we're counting on all of y'all flipping on them right now. 69, 79, 89, 99. Well, flip those backwards. The reason it's such a big deal is because it's 99, 96, 97, 95. 1995 is 1959 is 1995. 1969 is 1996. 1996 is when this whole thing flipped from Christ full table to Marie Helene Rothschild with some stag horns and sushi people. And that just flipped back yesterday. So Lily Hasler died a virgin at 99 years old. She was a hairdresser. She had over $600,000 in her bank account when she died. My Ginsel was the accountant, so they were in charge of her estate. And in the middle of this, she died on the day that I called in for all the Queen Bee energy into the Virgin Queen Bee. We had been waiting for her to go. She had been 99. They'd even done a hip replacement on her, like at 98. Like nuts. The day that I had to call in for all the Queen Bee energy, she passed. They had to send out the money to 13 families. Now, mind you, whenever you're one of us, we don't know any of our family members. We maybe see them 3 times in our whole entire lifetime, and then they say that we're connected to them, but then they disappear. That's because if you're in one of these special lines, the family members around you don't know anything about what's going on because they're completely being controlled by other realms. And they keep us separated so we can't figure it out. And then they blame us for being stupid, although they know that we're actually here to claim everything from the Genzels and the Goths. They just don't want us to claim it because they already said it was theirs. That part. On the Goth side, we're talking about the remnant Mormons. We're talking about the real deal and all the records of who the real John Baptiste, the real Christ is, who all the real Mary Magdalenes were, and who was all married to whom that made what you call warlords and other multiverse, whatever the F-balls they had going on. Because it's what it was. The Mormons were just copying the Saudis. You can take a lot of wives, and these ones are going to take a lot of wives, but then this DNA over here is only going to get you so far whenever you've got a purity thing going over here. And that's what it was doing. It was just mirroring back and forth. Thing is, that Goth side's got a Fannie Mae and a Peel in it, and Trump's freaking that he changed churches to get underneath that Peel guy, and that was my family, not his. And I know for a fact they used Malcolm B. Goff's body to make a rump. And it's connected to 1659 and Hague. And it's connected into a whole nother group and judicial system that you don't know exists down here that has been running everything. And it's basically called the Hague. And in our world, it's a bunch of vampires, werewolves, and witches who say that they own everything and you can't use your powers and abilities without them. Thing is, you shouldn't have attacked us because now we have all your power. And we took over the Hague yesterday. Wait for instructions. You won't get any. It'll drive you insane. So I wrote this song a while back, and I haven't sang it in a long time. And in fact, I had it memorized. Making me do the puzzle. I had this song memorized. And I had to use it 2022 in order for them to take me back up in that ship so that we could end this thing. Because if they would have taken the girl that was set up there as a dummy to do it, which now they have. Like, you don't want to mess with us when it comes to time travel. You won't win. I can promise you that. And it blows our minds of what we can do. But that's what we did the last 7 years to give the earth a proper ascension. You still got to walk through it. You still got to claim. But now you have an opportunity to do it. And that's why we demand respect. And by the way, we don't know what's going to exactly happen next because we want to have some type of experience, but we do know what's going to happen next. We just don't know what's going to happen next down here. So we give messages in a whole bunch of little ways. In the videos that I put up on here, you don't look at anything for face value. You need to look again. You need to look at the music, pay attention to what the song says, like, because y'all don't understand. I can put out so much content because it's literally coming out of me before it happens. I don't have to go search. I hear a word in my head and I go look for a song and it ain't even the song that I think I'm looking for. But the computer's telling me how to get to what exactly needs to come out because we've done it before and it's already written. And that's what all of us who are angelics, who are in the flow, this is what you got to do. You got to get your energy out of the matrix so that you can change the matrix. If you don't, and if you're not, and if you take shame or you take pity, or and like if you've been a part of the family line that you think has done some crazy crap, good. That's why you're in the line. Freaking change it. Don't go cry underneath your table. Hello, they had all of us doing crazy crap to each other. The whole point is to figure it out before it happens again. If you're one of us, you get the message. Sometimes 5 years in advance, and you just don't even know what the F's going on. I love you too. I've got this thing over that says I love you. And I forgot it's 107 right now, so that's October 7th. That's my birthday. So I command everything undone from Dana Point, and I command the tribe of Dan and the whole cross and the Bible closed. We finished it whenever I came out of the suitcase, because this is what happened. You put Christ in a suitcase, you carved it up, you called it Nasara Gasara, and everybody jumped on. You called it digital currency, and everybody jumped on. You think that you're going to get something for nothing. You think that you're just going to be able to put something in a machine and spit out something that's going to make you something without any work, without any healing, without anything. No. What you end up doing is using the collective energy, and then you run out of energy, and then you come thinking you got to take somebody over for it. No. Now they can't even hold the channel. In order to freaking make the channel right, you got to freaking come hand back the channels. Okay, it's why we threw it to you in the first place. Did you really think that we didn't know that you were going to steal it? In fact, the whole time that they were watching us, they told me, I watched you for 200 years. I know you better than you know yourself. Are you sure about that? I bet you're second guessing that now, because I don't even know who the F-balls I am. I was so undercover. And I'm a trip. That's for sure. We were watching you. We were watching you for 600 years. We picked you because we knew you'd be stupid enough to do it. Us angels picked the narcissist. We had to. They had to do it. We had to rewalk the whole thing. They even had to pull the trigger again and again and again. Or you could have come to us, but see, that wasn't even an option. You weren't going to go, you weren't even going to do the right thing. You were going to see, but we knew that you do it over and all it takes is us staying alive, and you'll do everything to cover your secret. Now are you figuring out how we were so hidden? They didn't even know who they's doing it to in the end. It ended up hitting their line every single time, but they thought they had got us a whole time. Boo, motherfuckers, I'm not in the suitcase. Who was in the suitcase? Fernando in another country. And what was the other one in Florida? It's like, y'all gotta, the ones who were like the males that were like, that they had messing with us. You want to know why the male consciousness is so screwed up? Listen to what I'm telling you. They had one group making them kill their sister over and over again that won't die. And in their illusional mind, they're literally carving you up. Like, literally. They're making them do it, and then we come back to life. So there's like this whole disassociation that we're not. They think we're not real. They think that we're Avatar. They think that we were a video game. They were even told we were a video game. A lot of them. They were moving the keys, and they thought that this is where Daredevil came from. Ryan Reynolds, shut up, sit the fuck down. You're no longer on a lively network, and no mint can fucking take it. I command the Trump order that came in when I was in Queens Valley, whenever I freaking pulled this motherfucker on top of Queens Valley, Arizona, and Trump said, give her what she wants. I command that you follow his order. It's about Palm Sunday, and I left, that fucking palm tree got set on fire on that golf course. Y'all know 2022. I'm going to take you back to, it was around July, August 2022. Two events happened. Biden came out and said it was the secret weapon. A stealth secret weapon? No. That was us in the garage undoing all their bullshit from whenever they took Bonet. That's also whenever I had to call the Eye of Ra back in to the higher energies, and it took out some dude in Saudi that they had surrounded, and that was the secret weapon. Well, I want to know how Hamas had the Eye of Ra. Military, we can't help you no more. We kind of had to. We had to clean it. We had to clean Virginia, and then that created another Virginia problem. You're looking at it right now. Military has been running our stuff. This was all about Admiral Byrd. This was all about the Byrd unit. This was all about military, Huntsville. This is the orphan trains, the adoptions in Korea, all of the adoptions that went on all over the world was all about making secret super soldier cells. They were just copying what the Russians did. Like, they lost control of the whole freaking thing. Other countries were doing it at the same time, and then they all needed to get them into the United States of America because this is where all the terraforming and change was going to go. And in fact, at the end of days, the tip of Texas is the only land that we had left that wasn't underwater. This whole thing was trying to stop a terraform process that they have manipulated for so very long that they thought that they could band together to change it. And no, you can't stop what's coming. We're coming out of your system. We already have. Everything's lost control. We have to do this together. We're on a star, people, that's moving through space. And if all of us just jump up and down at the same time and go, it'll change shit. You're going to start noticing more and more people talking about the planets. You're going to start noticing more and more star stuff coming out on propaganda even. Because it's a new program. This is why broadcasting has to upgrade, or it's going to be completely cut, because you're not going to use us as the caster, and you're not going to use us as the broadband. And the only mistake y'all made is to not give us anything. Because, I mean, what did you think? You're going to steal our life, and then you're not going to give us a man. You're not going to give us a company. You're not going to give us our domains. You're not going to give us anything. But then you stole our life. So then and we're the only ones who can make life. So you should have just gave us our little small-time boyfriend. And you should have just gave us our little small-time Cohu 32 and let me get my little sweatshirts out, because now we're having to take over the entire fucking system, and there's no end to the misery of it all, and we're here to bring it. Or until you do the right thing. Because, I mean, We already made a timeline to where you can come tell everybody that we're in the secret space program and that you put your descendants in the secret space program because your family line's so special that you saw it coming and you knew, and it was the founding fathers, and you wanted to save America so bad that you sacrificed a daughter that you had made, and then now you're trying to pull up a Vanessa all of a sudden and make her a whore? I don't know. Why don't you come out and tell the truth? You can spin that one and everything will be fine. Or we're going to go for the trunk and the woman in it. And the torso and par 5 on an Eagle. On an Ivana. Choice. I haven't sang this song in a really long time. I used to have it memorized, and that's what's so crazy to me, because this would be my go-to song. I'd sing it all the time, so I'm gonna sing it. Try to. Bear with me. Born with pistols and tears of the DOA, a gun packed by the tears of an Irish claim. They say no man could put him down until they gave his little girl his Irish crown. My daddy never knew my name, or that he dropped the seed of an Irish queen. No proof, no error, so they say. It's just one woman's claim he was my DOA. Now we're running down these highways in this crazy game, tracking up the mileage, cleaning up the shame. Birds in the ashes of my daddy's name. Yeah, there were birds in the ashes of my daddy's name. Packed with pistols and tears of the DOA. Now I'm driving down south past Sam's Gate. This druid blood unsight a scene led me to a Texas penitentiary. Bird is where they chained his eye, formed a tattoo of ink and blood inside. All stars, all stripes, no one was safe until my daddy pledged his soul to grace. Now we're running down these highways in this crazy game, packing up the mileage, cleaning up the shame. Birds in the ashes of my daddy's name. Yeah, there were birds in the ashes of my daddy's name. I'm waiting for my guitar player. I'm not a guitar player. I'm not an instrument player. I know that I got a band coming. This is my sweet spot. We've been knowing that in a weird way, like with the warlocks, it was like our father was trapped underneath the prison and he never died, and he was like forced to do the physics and stuff, almost like Walt Disney was captured and his spirit was captured in order to keep writing Mickey Mouse. And right now, I just claim that whatever soul swapping had ever gone on in these depths of hell, and whatever needs to be corrected in order for us to be unbound, for it to be so, and it to be done, and all of the physics to go back to one. Because this is where the Empire strikes back. And I mean the original Empire. Not the ones that made a Darth Vader. Which is Andy Beal, by the way. Go look him up. He's a serial killer from Kingsman, Arizona. And he runs the biggest banking system in all of this. I love Texas. I ain't got no problem with Texas. I love the people of Texas. My problem is you ain't gonna use my people and you ain't gonna use my land just because a bunch of warlocks have some half-breeds that say they's from Texas. And then you got them to you got them to come into your system and sign over their soul. Well, that's fine. They just lost their half-breed connection to Texas. In this round, I don't know why it's so hard for them to understand. That's what's so funny about it. Now, this song's supposed to be sung with 3 different girls. But it's befitting the title. Moro Mero, teller of tales. Motors humming like wedding bells. Black Hills playing that Harley tune. Exhaust so sweet, smells like perfume. Yeah. Stilettos, Glocks from the farm to sell. Pockets loaded when your soul's for sale. Praying we all live to tell why the Brazos County Sheriff's posting our bail. Yeah. I'm a Reaper girl out in the world. Tatted my blood before I was born. Traded my Sith for a microphone and a style that cuts down to your bones. Yeah. Leather lace, such a pretty face. Nerves of steel, that's what they say. Hidden by the men you feared were the Reaper girls with golden tears. Yeah. I haven't sang these in so long, so I'm like pulling them back in. I claim my music timeline back because I had the Prince vault. So I opened the vault and I shred it. How about that? How about them crackers? I opened the vault and I shred it. See, this is why everyone thinks Taylor Swift is like all that. No. Her Easter eggs and stuff, that's collective timeline crap. She just gated it. Are you a Swifter? This is why the Swifters think that they are so powerful and because they were for a minute. But, no. That's a Taylor. That's tailored. You know what Swift codes are? Banking codes. Country banking codes from one to the other. Taylor goes to Rio de Janeiro. They put a Taylor Swift t-shirt on Christ. It gets struck by lightning. And then there's a heat wave and one of her people die. One of her fans dies. The opposite of Christ, is it not? Like, if she's the real deal, then even if Christ was struck by lightning, the whole thing would have elevated and everyone would have gotten healed. Nobody would have died. Have you seen her plane? Like how she's going back and forth in a plane? Oh, I'm sorry, that's trying to mimic stellar movements. It's like, put the lotion in the basket. Put the lotion in the basket. Put the lotion in the basket. Man, they tried everything, even at the end, for me to like endorse her. And I had to cut ties from Australia and then freaking do 26 charts to make another way. Now I don't know what I'm doing, so I'm just rolling with it right now. This is like the first 0 point day. We've got like 6 of these 0 point days, so who knows? This all comes back around. By the way, this is all the necklaces, so on a butterfly. So this is all the houses of the zodiac and all the energies. I've got Virgo on, and I've got Sagittarius. I had to put Sagittarius on yesterday. I had Libra on. I really need a really strong black man's voice for this. I think that that's what this needs to be delivered in. So if you can just picture that right now, and I'll do my best, because this is a ancient rap. This came in like in 2019 when this all started, and I think this is the one that needs to go out right now. I take it. I need an African American man's deep voice to do the rap, and then we need a girls' choir for the like a whole group of us singing the rest of it. A DJ on the mainframe scratching a hue. Hold on. A DJ on the mainframe scratching hue. Distortion, contortion for all not few. Record scratch, rickety whack, taking us back. Galactic attack, swimming in the darkness of black goo makes it impossible to see you. I am the whole, I am in me, the Coco, universe and galaxy. I am the whole, I am in me, the Coco, universe and galaxy. Evil lived backwards, scratch, scratch. They say we were under attack, but that's whack, jack in the box, the pox, the media fox on the joysticks they call cocks, playing God without the love or consciousness of the one. I am the whole, I am in me, the Coco, universe and galaxy. I am the whole, I am in me, the Coco, universe and galaxy. We took it back, Jack, faster than a heart attack. Splat, Fema Rose with an axe. Michael Gabriel timeline hack, off the virgin's back. Tears of salt refueled my thoughts, took me higher to see the world I desire. Hearts warmed by the fire, finally home from the Shire. I am the one, I am in me, the Coco, universe and galaxy. I am the whole, I am in me, the Coco, universe and galaxy. Yaba Ama'at, sun and moon, mark the spot, on the dot, in the west. At the end of the quest, I would not jest. There are no limits confessed by the jack in the box of fox. My focus is gold, won't be wasted on old. Now we are the Coco, cosmic collective in arms. We see the charms for what they were, bars. I am the collective, honest and true. I am the Coco, shiny and new. I am the collective, honest and true. I am the Coco, shiny and new. Sun and moon mark the spot. At the end of the quest, I would not jest. I opened this video, it was 12:03 marker, and I opened this video That was hot. That's it. I always do provide the spark. I got wind picking up over here. Thank you for saying that, because I. A lot of us are the spark. Let me give you an example. Like, whenever I started getting my power and I started realizing how connected I was in with the land, that came in first, and it's terrifying, because when you're the one, because I at that moment I didn't understand how it worked, and it's like I thought that, oh my God, I just walked up on Cathedral Mountain, I just listened to my guidance, and I just had to sit on that rock, send this energy to here, and then crisscross it and seam up the seam, and then Notre Dame blows, and there was some stuff in the in between, but still, because we blew Notre Dame. That was us. The minute we did it from Flagstaff, and that dragon came out of Notre Dame, and it terrified me, and then what I realized was I am the spark. So it wasn't that I had the ability to connect in with everybody's intentions that ever went to Cathedral Rock. Whatever energy they ever had put there at Cathedral Rock to do whatever it was, all I did was wrangle it together and light the match. That's the ability that I had. And a lot of you, that's what abilities you have. Whenever everyone says, oh, you've got all this power. Well, and that's why I always say, yeah, but I don't have any without y'all. Anybody else that tells you anything different, you need to run. You need to tell them to go finish the journey. Because they get stuck on Jesus, and they get stuck on Caesar, and they get stuck on Napoleon, and but the feminines get stuck on ISIS, like, big time. Because then everyone's like, I'm ISIS. We kind of work in a unit, and I wouldn't claim that if I was you, because if you noticed, I even call myself sissy. Like, I don't even want to claim that 100, like, but it's a process. You've got to go from Isis to Iris. That's getting it in your body. The Isis is the Kundalini. Then you've got to get it up in your iris. Then that has to change your brain. Everybody wants to just sit down with the connection into the snake. It's what they wanted you to do. That's why we have all these names. That's why no one knows who we are. Like, it's a process, and you have to do it with the entire human race. And then, you have to be able to birth the cosmos, not birth the cosmos with a whole bunch of potted humans that's unconscious underground so that you can control them. See, that's the main thing that's happening right now in this next 6 or 7 days, which you're going to be seeing. And what's happening is all of us will be popping off. There's different storylines that are coming up. Today, it's all about the bikers and the Hells Angels and Sturgis and the Reaper Girl, because that's what they made your Christ seeds prove. You think Jesus had it bad? Please. Jesus was manifested here to get us out. Jesus wouldn't have shown up if we weren't buried. That's why Jesus was like trying to help us get out. We projected Jesus here, literally. So what you're going to be witnessing is those of us who have control over the human, because we can't necessarily take everybody out of your pod. It's free will. If you're in the line and you're in the pods because you're still doing stupid shit, not standing up, whatever. It's not that we can just come unbind all the pods. No, we can just control what the pods are used for. And that's what's going to be happening over this next week. It's a battle of who has the most control over the harvesting energy. As a whole bunch are waking up. There are a bunch coming out of those pods, but not everybody. I'm just giving y'all an idea. See, and then once you get the right energy controlling the pod, then y'all get less worried about standing up and coming out of it. It's normal. Like, do you know what happened the first time that we stood up and freaking... All right, this is the first day. Blow cinnamon out your door. I just remembered. So just on the first day of the month, just go to your cabinet, get some cinnamon, put it in your hand, open your front door and blow it out. Clear that energy. And we gotta see, all this is happening at 0 point right now because Mercury is gonna go direct. And literally, like, Mercury's ran out of storylines. The reason this week is going to be so crazy and it's going to be so Babylonian, techno-Babylonian with the moves is because it really is, the Matrix timelines are down, literally. It's either you're going back to the past with them or you're coming to the future with us. Or you're stretched in the middle because you need to uncoil and we'll pick you up in a year. Not that we're not helping you on the in-between because we're helping you pull it out, but this right now is for the people that are getting all the way out in August, etherically, and then by November, you'll be printing more of your full self. Now, this is every year for each one of us. Like, August is when, right now is when things are getting set, and then August is when everyone starts pulling out of the system. Then November, because that's the Stargate. Jupiter's approaching Rigel right now. Like, Jupiter is on Rigel, okay? Right, Rigel's why we blew out the big hole. Rigel is one of the two Alpha Draconic royal houses. The other one's in Virgo. So this is like hell is closed, and you dumb motherfuckers, you sacrificed the entity that you were sacrificing to, and everything's changed now, and it's like sacrifices and sacrifice flip places. The bottom took control of the top because Rigel no longer is an Alpha Drac Stargate. It's basically a big straw flushing the line because we finished the wheel. It's having to get up to Sag. It's not the energy's not going up and then splitting. The energy's getting pulled all the way from Sag and blowing Gemini, because Gemini's got everything separate. It's putting it back into one, and so that takes a minute, and sometimes it'll take a year. I mean, it took me 3 years, but it's pulling up and pulling up and pulling up and pulling up. Jupiter's loading up with it right now. And Jupiter has a new Io moon setting for this, because we didn't go back in the snake. We don't need the snake. We, the human race, know that we are Jonah's ship. Those of us who know how to drive the ship have already been on the ship, blown open the ship, reloaded the ship with a bunch of y'all that don't have etheric bodies, but your consciousness is awake. Okay, well, you've got to activate your etheric body, and you got to learn how to do it together on a ship, or else when you get off the ship, you're really screwed. So that's what's going on. Can I come over? Red Rover, Red Rover. Interesting. Charlie. See, there go Charlie again. I saw the minute Hunnam activated. And they had him in India filming some stuff when all that was going on too, man. I was like, what the F? And then when I was in Hollywood Hills, I know for a fact that they had me driving past his house because I didn't even notice it until it hit an Instagram thing and he was outside of his house. And I was like, why am I having to drive back and forth from Hollywood Hills? Hollywood Hills, is basically this big sugar monster. I called it the sugar monster. It was an entity that was in Hollywood Fields. I command the sugar monster cut from Fields. 143. 144. And I command the Disney. All sellers closed to Disney. All sellers closed to Disney. All sellers closed to Disney. All sellers and sellars and sells closed to Disney. It was a whole bunch of undercurrent sub stuff, y'all. I mean, there's so much. We got to blow. It just has to blow. There's too much pressure in the core. It's got to come up. Like, it is what it is. Follow your guidance. Keep your frequency high. Listen to what the land's telling you. A lot of you don't realize that especially if you're from the South, some of you got to get up north. You're going to have to go up there. The reason why is because under your bond, it's saying that your body is up north. Literally. Like Hardin County. I had to go claim Hardin County. But it was in fucking Ohio and whatever. And it was holding all the Hardin lines down in Texas. This is why the Dixie line was there. They don't want you going up north. Because if you blow their grids, it's all set on Southern DNA, which now is everybody's DNA, because basically all they did was take the Northerners and put them on the bottom and then drop us deeper. So if you're in with the human race, then you're one of us. If you want to be controlled by some weird ass faction that's going to put you in some weird ass shit, then go do it. Otherwise, everybody's going to learn what it's like to live somewhere when the feminine is gone. Because this is all about the feminine and how men are treating women. And how the men weren't standing up for the women. What happened was down here, the women had all the power in the end because the men became so subservient. Okay, change it. We're done holding your damn power. We're here to teach you how to do it now. You're here to teach us what the Pussy Patrol was doing to you so that we can take on some of those skills back on you and like do it on a good way. That too. I don't know what the problem is. Everybody's in on it. Okay, everybody wake up. Everybody undercover, wake up. I command all my agents in the White House. I command all my agents in NATO. I command every single person that Maria Andromovich cooked. I command every single person that's ever been made part of a sacrifice. I command every single person that has ever been part of a sacrifice. I command every single being that was made from sacrifices in order to wake up. Now, 147, 111 on plan, and now you work for the Divine Mother. And it's time to clean up your mess. Follow your instructions, and you best bring the muse some offerings.